Hi, everybody out in Facebook world. It is 10:18, and here I am again live for day 8. Why is it I keep doing so many of these lives late at night? I'll tell you why. Because I'm a busy lady, that's why. Although I did get a nap in today, which is practically a modern day miracle because that almost never happens. But today, it did. So if you're wondering if miracles can happen, let me tell you, they're possible. Carla Grubb actually laid down and took a nap today. It's amazing. Anyway, little humor for your Sunday evening. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about what do you want? How often do you ask yourself this question? What do you want? I'm not talking about what do you want for dinner or what do you want to do today or even what do you want to do this weekend. I'm talking about what do you want in life? What do you want? This was a question that came up for me at the beginning of 2020, before all the craziness started. Remember that? Remember back in the beginning of 2020 when we had all these high hopes for the year, when we wrote down our New Year's resolutions and our goals, and it was a new decade, and it was 2020, and it was so exciting because like 2020, it was this even number, and we were entering a new decade, and we were like, it's going to be the roaring 20s in a good way. It's 2020. This is great. And then things went differently than we all expected they were going to go for this year. But in the beginning of 2020, I was actually in a really precarious, different place than I had been in a long time. And that is because the business that I had been running for 10 years had hit some rough patches. And I felt like in order for it to be successful and continue, I was going to have to put a lot more effort into it than I had been putting in previously. And I found myself wondering whether I really wanted to do that. I wasn't really sure what I wanted for that business and for 2020 and for my future. And I hit this point of, at my age, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because I have a senior in high school this year, and she's going to probably go off to college next year. And I've been homeschooling my kids for 10 years, people. 10 years I've been homeschooling. And now I'm seeing them, one of them is about to be a teenager, the other one's about to go off to college. And I'm thinking, my whole life is going to change in the next few years. And now my business is kind of not sure what's going to happen with that. And now, what do I want? What do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to do with my life? I don't know how often you've hit those moments in your life where you realized like maybe the path you've been on isn't necessarily the one that you want to be on the rest of your life, but we just kind of go through our days, right? And we're going and we're going and we do the same thing every day, and we have our responsibilities and we have our job and we're doing what we have to do. And maybe we don't always take the time to stop and think, what direction is my life really going in? And is that the direction I want it to be going in? Is that what I really want to be doing? What do I want? What do you want? When was the last time you sat down and really thought, where do you want to be a year from now? Now, many of the women that I talk to, of course, in weight release are, what do you want? I want to lose weight. Okay, but what do you really want? Do you just want to lose weight? Why? What is losing weight going to do for you? What do you really want? Do you want to have more energy to run around with your kids if they're young? Do you want to feel confident about yourself? Is that what losing weight will do for you? Will it really? Some things when we say, oh, I want to lose weight, like, but I think it's important to get beyond that. Like, what do you really want? Because it's not always just about the weight. If you really want to feel secure and confident, just losing weight probably isn't going to completely fix that problem. If you want to have more energy, Losing weight will help, but just losing weight may not fix that problem. If whatever it is that is happening in your life that you think, oh, I want to lose weight, is it because of other people and how they view you? Is it because of how you feel about yourself? There are some deeper issues at play that we want to get to the bottom of, because that's what you really want. But losing weight aside, just from a personal development standpoint, it's good sometimes to sit down and think, what do you really want? And what I found at the beginning of 2020 when I went to do this is I actually didn't know. I didn't know what I wanted. I literally, legitimately couldn't tell you what I wanted. Now, obviously, there were some things I could tell you, but they were more general. Like, oh, I want my kids to grow up and become happy, productive members of society that love God and love other people. You know, I want to have a good marriage. That was about as far as I could get. I want to be able to pay my bills. Like, I didn't have a clear direction anymore. I've been in a few different career fields over my lifetime, and home education was really important to me. Raising my children is really important to me. But now, knowing that in 10 years they're going to be off and on their own, what do I want? What do I want for my life? How often do you think about this? What do you really want? So because I was so clueless, and I was shocked to find out that I actually didn't know what I wanted. I was given this tool by a great coach, and I want to share it with you. So here is a great tool. If you feel like I'm not sure actually what I want, or maybe you're afraid at some level to quantify it or write it down, here is what you can do that will help you narrow in on it, zero in on it so quickly, and figure out exactly what you want. And that is, you start by writing down what you don't want. What are you afraid of happening? What would be a bad outcome? Where do you not want to be 5 years from now? Like, I don't want to be divorced. Okay. I don't want, you start spilling out all your fears. I don't want to not be able to pay the bills and not be able to stay in my home and have to sell the house and move into, I don't know, whatever, something I don't want, right? I don't want, I'm trying to think what else I had on there. I mean, just general examples, right? Whatever you don't want, you know what it is for you. Sometimes it's a lot easier because if we've allowed ourselves to fear a lot, it's easier to go into the don't want and figure that out. So that's what you do. On one side of the paper, you write down all the things you don't want. And then next to it, in another column on the next side of the paper, you write what is the exact opposite of that. And you just write down the exact opposite on the other side of the piece of paper. Guess what? Now you have a list of what your heart actually does want. This is what you do want. And so when I did this back in the spring and I wrote down what I did want, some things became very clear to me. One thing that became very clear to me that I did want is that I did want to help other women with this weight release area of their life. Not just, oh, I want to help women, do juice fasts and diet and get in shape and be a personal trainer. Like, hello, I'm not a personal trainer, okay? And probably never will be. But I am a woman that has struggled in this area, and I have found a huge amount of peace, and I have been able to come a long way. And I think back to who I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and I wish that I had had me now back then to be able to tell me and guide me and give me some tips and some help so that it wouldn't have taken me so long to make the progress that I've made and to find the peace that I've found. So I realized that's really what I really want. And that is why I do weight release now. That's why I started this coaching program. That's why I'm doing 30 days of Facebook Lives, because I was able to get down to, what do I really want? What am I passionate about? What do I care about? What is the mark I'd like to make on the world? So what about you? What is the mark you want to make on the world? What are you passionate about? What do you really care about? And then what's holding you back from doing something about it? Listen, it is not easy. Let me tell you, it's not easy to come on these Facebook Lives, do it every day, especially when I'm like, oh man, it's 10 o'clock at night. I haven't done my Facebook Live today. Oh, well, no one's making me do it, right? But I said I was going to do it. I made myself a promise. And I've learned that I want to keep my word to myself because it's a character thing for me. Like if I say I'm going to do it, then I need to do it. It's building character. But it's not easy to come on and watch the little numbers and see who's watching or who's not watching. And I'm not wrapped up in all of that because I know what I want. And what I want is to help women. What I want is to be able to give this message to women that I needed to hear for so many years, that you are not what you weigh, that whether you lose 5 pounds this month or not doesn't matter in the long run. What does matter is that you're learning to appreciate who you are. You're learning to make healthy choices that are taking you in the right direction, but that you are coming out of the prison of self-criticism and diet culture that tells you that you will never be good enough until you have achieved a certain, a certain weight or a certain size or a certain body type or whatever it is. It's always out there. Whatever you think you want in this area of your life, it's always out there. And so you're always striving, striving, striving. And it's a prison that we build around ourselves instead of just being free to be like, you know what? I am okay with who I am right now. It's hard. I haven't completely mastered it yet. I've come a long way. And when I am in that zone and I'm doing it, it feels so good. But sometimes I slip out of it, and that's okay because that's part of the journey is learning that self-forgiveness to be able to come back in and remember, no, you know what? It's okay for me to be where I am right now today. So I am learning more and more every day what I want. What about you? Do you know what you want? So that's the question for tonight. Think about it. And if you're not sure, take some time and do that list that I suggested. Write down what you don't want. It's going to tell you exactly what you do want. If you give it a try, send me a message. Just DM me and let me know if you did it. I would love to hear how it went for you. All right. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.